Hey guys, it's Philip from Project Cardboard, and today we're taking a look at Photosynthesis, a 2 to 4 player strategic game of planting, growing and harvesting trees. Let's get right into it.
In photosynthesis, players are competing to grow their trees as high as possible before harvesting them to earn victory points. The board setup includes every player placing one small tree in consecutive order on the outer space of the map until every player has placed 2 small trees in total. Then, the life cycle of a tree begins by planting a seed, which can be planted from any tree already present on the board. If it is a small tree, a seed can be planted 1 tile away. If it's a medium tree, it can be planted 2 tiles away, and for the big tree, you've guessed it, a seed can be planted 3 tiles away. Players consecutively take turns in which they can play as many actions as they can, as long as they can afford them. The actions are planting a seed, as we've mentioned, growing a tree, buying from the shop, or harvesting a big tree. Planting a seed costs 1 light point. The cost of growing a tree depends on how big the tree is. Here you can see the costs for growing from a seed to the biggest tree. Buying from the shop also costs light points, as shown here on the left hand side of the spot. Harvesting, the last action, allows you to harvest or cut down a big tree for 4 light points and collecting a victory point token, depending on the richness of the soil the tree is on. For example, if the tree is placed here and I harvest it, I'd pick this token, matching the leaf's number and the richness of the soil. So how do you collect light points? Well, there is a sun, and the sun rotates as rounds take place, starting from this location. Then the trees that are hit by the sun are collecting light points, hence the photosynthesis name of the game. The number of light points they collect depends on how big the tree is. For example, a small tree collects 1 light point, a medium tree collects 2, and the biggest tree collects 3 points. There is a catch though. Trees also cast shadows depending on where the sun is. So if the sun is here, we need to imagine that the shadows are cast in this direction. Thus, small trees cast shadow 1 tile away, medium trees 2 tiles away, and big trees cast a shadow of 3 spaces away. Everything that's inside the shadow doesn't collect any light points. There's an exception in this case, and that's if the tree is bigger than the tree in front of it. Both trees collect light points as they're both hit by the sun. Let's see some examples here. If the sun is here, the blue player would collect 2 light points for this tree, but would not collect anything from this tree, as this tree is inside a shadow of this tree. The green player would collect 1 point from this tree, as their tree is too far away from this player's tree that's casting a shadow on these 2 spaces. However, the red player would receive nothing, as their tree doesn't get any sun. When the sun takes 3 rotations around the map, the game's over and the player with the most victory points is the winner. There is also an advanced variant, but I will leave that for you to discover when reading the rulebook, which you should before playing a game, as it's really short and concise. Photosynthesis is a very fun strategic game that is actually very easy to learn but has a lot of depth into it. There are countless strategies and ways to play, and your gameplay will depend on what type of a player you are. You can block other people's trees, you can focus on getting light points, or focus on growing as many trees as possible. Maybe you'll try to just grow a couple of trees to their maximum height and focus on strategic key points on the board, such as this one. No game will be the same, and your move will also depend on what the players before you decided to play. The game looks gorgeous on the table, and any type of player can quickly pick it up and start playing it in no time. There is an economic part of the game as well, which blends in very good with the environmental setting, and that is when to spend and when to save light points. They're always transferred to the next round, but you can never have more than 20, and at the end you earn bonus victory points depending on where your light point marker is set. There is also a strategic planning when buying stuff from the store, because anything you remove from the board, for example when you grow a small tree into a medium one, you return the small tree in the bottommost space in the shop. If you can't do that because the space is occupied for any reason, the tree is out of the game forever. There is a lot going on and you'll need to keep attention throughout the whole game.
So that's for Photosynthesis. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like my content, feel free to subscribe and like this video, or even go beyond and become a patron on my Patreon profile by pledging $1 or $2 per month. It would mean so much to me. And that's all for today. See you soon. This is Philip and I approve Photosynthesis.